We are back for a game with big mid-season implications as 100 Thieves and Team Liquid battle for better seeding. It's a match that we are all looking forward to. But Emily, which player matchup are you looking forward to most?
So you know me, I'm going to be looking at junglers. Yesterday, I talked about Santorin as kind of the backbone of Team Liquid. I think he does so much that actually goes unrecognized by most people because he's not as flashy of a player as some of the other junglers in NA, but I still think he is one of the best and should always be in the discussion for best jungler in North America. On the other side, we have Closer, who previously was kind of heavily criticized for not interacting with his lanes as much as he maybe could have been. And in yesterday's game, we actually saw that he stepped it up. He started paying more attention to his lanes. So I'm really curious to see both of these junglers going up against each other. I want to see how each of them approach this matchup, and even more specifically, what the drafts end up being and how each jungler ends up playing around those.
Now, all eyes are going to be on the junglers here, especially when looking over, as you mentioned, Emily, to Closer and the fact that he has been so crucial on the side of 100 Thieves and making those plays. But if we had to look anywhere else on where maybe the junglers may bring their attention, Crumbs, where do you think that's going to be?
Listen, we just saw how important top lane can be for winning or losing a game, and especially when the junglers put attention down there. So I need to put my eyes on Someday versus Alphari, because before Alphari came over, Someday was the #1 top laner in the league. Now Alphari is here. He's now taking that role. We got the #1 versus last year's #1. I think this is going to be a really fun matchup to see. Not only what the draft tells us, whether they're going to be camped by their junglers or not, but just to see how the lane plays out between these two, because there are so many lessons to learn from just watching these two guys battle it out in the top lane.
We had a lot of fun looking at top lane during that last game for different reasons. I think this one is going to be highly entertaining just because of the pure talent that is there in the top lane. Of course, both of them have been doing a fine job for their teams, but Mark, what are your thoughts on the other laners that are bringing to the table on the side of Team Liquid?
Well, I think Team Liquid has been struggling with consistency over the course of this split because at different points, different players have been playing good or bad. And I think last game was one where Tactical was really struggling again. He had really low kill participation. He had like 1 kill through 12 kills for his team through a large portion of that game. He made a number of mistakes. And Jensen as well was not that involved in a lot of the plays that were going on. I think early on, there was the role swap stuff that went on, the lane swaps that maybe threw him off. But through the mid game, Jensen as well did not get a lot done. He got caught out and killed pretty early on in a number of fights. And it wasn't until later that he started having some kill contributions. So overall, I think this is the problem with TL and why their games take so long and they're so hard to close out, is because, okay, Santorin and Alphari have a good game, then these two guys struggle, or Alphari's getting solo killed by Revenge, and it's like, okay, Jensen's playing well. And so, like, still waiting to see TL where all they're firing on all cylinders at the same time, I guess is what I was trying to say.
And I can't believe I'm about to say this because we've said so much about how strong TL's bot lane is, and I still think they're incredibly strong. But the most consistent performer for me on 100 Thieves, or one of them, has been FBI. Like, you can always rely on him to show up in team fights. And I can't believe we're talking about this, but that bot lane matchup is suddenly really interesting given the way that both of these bot lanes have played recently.
Yeah, exactly. Recently in games on 100 Thieves, they have went back to bringing that attention down towards bot.
Yeah, and I think as well as the mid laners, like we saw Closer gank mid really early last time. Jensen's going to get a little bit of a check against Ryoma, who has been pretty big in the 2-0 weekend that 100 Thieves has so far on the Silas pick, which was a big surprise that he wasn't just on control mages. So I think I'm interested to see what goes on in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, we're all keeping our eyes there. It's a very important matchup across the board. We're ready to get into it. So Freak and Kobe, bring us that action.
We are happy to bring you the action. It's going to be a really exciting battle here. 100 Thieves taking on Team Liquid. These are two teams people had as expected victors, or at least a short list of people who would win the LCS here in the first half of 2021. And look, we're still in this spot. They're both guaranteed top 4 in the playoffs. They've made that cut already, but you can go further than this. If all goes well, I think we can see Team Liquid in first seed as high as they could go. We'll see how it's going to go. It's going to be a fun one here. 100 Thieves are keeping Ryoma in the starting lineup. Team Liquid sharing that 11-6 record. Going to battle back.
Yeah, given the lock-in performances, let's go right back to Team Liquid, champions of lock-in, 100 Thieves right up there, contesting at the very top, looking their best. Since then, obviously, they've changed over to Ryoma. I do think Ryoma is starting to work better with this team the more practice they've gotten. First week, they only had 3 days of practice, but he has been doing a large share of the damage. I've been the highest damage share of any mid laner for any single team. Let's see about this picks and bans, though, if they continue to set him up for that role, as we have no jungle attention at all in the bans. It is mostly bottom lane. Look at those support bans from the side of 100 Thieves, even taking away the flex that Jensen has used the Seraphine towards mid lane as well. Do like this focus here, targeting Core JJ. This man won MVP for a reason. Still feel like, even though Alfari has been the one in the spotlight with all of his crazy early game stats and styling on people, Core JJ still is the heart of the team. And 100 Thieves open it up with a flex.
So this is interesting, of course. 100 Thieves so much, and this is what Emily was saying, like FBI's been playing really, really well. To further her point and add my own spin on it, I'm going to say 100 Thieves are the better bottom lane, all things considered. And so you see the Kai'Sa ban, because FBI is crushing on Kai'Sa, his most played champion. Oh, the Senna ban, his second most played champion, also really, really plays well with the Senna TK. So, all right, and still gets Tristana. And it's like, okay, well, he's still on a carry. Good job with the first 2 bans. This is still a big pop-off champion. Yes, it could flex to Ryoma, certainly is a possibility. Zai's going to be the answer here. But, you threw 2 bans and Trish is still an outstanding carry, so what'd you really get done?
Well, you get done some of the possibilities of like, okay, who he on fed Tom Kench. That was something that they had been super successful on. I think they actually didn't even lose a single game with it. But to your point, again, with 100 Thieves, they've shown, even with Ryoma in the mid lane now, they're willing to pick Twisted Fate. And if you grab Tristana and put her bottom lane for FBI, then that also opens you up for the Twisted Fate pick, because Tristana is one of the best counters into Twisted Fate. And so you don't have to ban it away. You can take it early on in the draft yourself there and open up that possibility. With Olaf being the pickup here, though, again, we always do look for stuff to support Olaf in diving, in his frontline efforts, so he doesn't fall off later. Did take some stat nerfs to the health pool that definitely helped in that area for this champion. So maybe we do have some more supportive roles to try and actually beef up closer.
Well, shout out to the scouting of Team Liquid. Despite Hecarim being the globally most picked champion in League of Legends across every league that plays 11.5, 98% pick and ban rate on Hecarim. TL's like, you don't play it. You're an Olaf player. We can leave this one. We can pick it. 3rd pick, red side. It's not a problem. You're not stealing it away. You've got exactly one style closer. We can go ahead and play that one. Again, Xayah is outstanding into Olaf. It's a good draft so far. You force one to Trist. You play the Xayah anyway. It's going to look pretty happy. I do expect to see Hecarim here, just because I think they want the priority jungler. Or something else high priority like the Udyr, I guess, is sort of reasonable as well. But this is going to be one of the very few drafts this patch where Hecarim is going to go untouched.
Yeah, I mean, Santorin has been definitely one of the better Udyr players in the LCS thus far. He's had really good pathing, controlling enemy camps as well. Double scuttle crabs. That's a new stat I want to track, Freak. Is openings with double scuttle crabs. It's probably going to have to be manually tracked, but I would definitely venture to say that Team Liquid Santorin is definitely up there at the top of the LCS. No, not too surprising here for him. Solo lane bans start to come in, though, since bottom lane and jungle have been locked up for both of them, taking away some of the possible blinds here. The Gragas basically, fine into everything and still has good.
I find this really interesting, because the last game we just watched was blue side Camille, red side Gragas, and on the other side, TL's like, actually, on red side, we should ban Gragas, because blue team should pick it as the blind pick top laner. And these are like, you've banned Gragas? Indeed, we should ban Camille, since we can't pick Gragas against it. It's like, I wonder if TSM got the better top lane matchup in the last game.
Well, I mean, this is the more correct way to do it, by the way.
Exactly. I'm just like,
Twisted Fate. It looks like I also like that Team Liquid caught the Tristana opening up the Twisted Fate route for 100 Thieves here deal. So good job coaching staff here for TL. Jat finding the ban there, taking that one away, because even though they did sub out Demonte, they're still very willing to play that. We saw that in the sneak peek Champion Select versus Immortals before they had to do the remake.
Got some Malphite hovers back and forth. With Sylas unbanned, I don't think you should be willing to do it. Both teams have in a front line that they don't need a Malphite, nor do they need a not, like, worry about playing a non-tank. So, like, there's no way you blind Malphite here unless I'm missing something.
100% is a meme shout out to Tactical because Double Lift has been flaming Tactical for his rocket jumps in. I think his Tristana rocket jump is a Malphite ultimate, so that's why they're memeing on the Malphite here. Because Tactical, it's legit here. Like, he has been a psychopath with Tristana, getting caught out a bunch. A lot of frontline Tristana play. With the Xayah, you can only like hover so far forward with your feathers out with your ultimate. Definitely doesn't have any offensive properties built in there. Is built into the champion that he's going to be safer now.
A little bit. I see my share of flash forward R's from Xayah though. It's usually not
But you're at least untargetable for a while. Like,
yes. And you have to burn flash, so the cooldown on jumping in to kill yourself is a lot longer. So still on board with this one. All right, so the Syndra comes through for Ryoma. No big surprises there. Tristana is going to the bottom side. I do like Leona, by the way, more than Nautilus overall. I think she's, like, her lockdown against someone like Xayah is actually really outstanding. It's pretty hard to, I would say, like, it's hard to ult on reflex to a Leona E, right? You can ult afterwards, but she's still in melee range and just, like, stuns you with the shield anyway. So a lot of that combo can still work pretty nicely and force the cleanse out. So I kind of like the champion interactions. Works pretty well overall. Obviously, you can't lock down a Gangplank too easily. A Azir can shuffle out and whatnot, but still plenty of hard engage for 100 Thieves. They've still got Closer on his very comfortable Olaf, so you can like just take all the farm and be a big mid-game threat. And you've got FBI on a big late-game carry. Like, that looks like a normal 100 Thieves comp to me.
I like that you kind of touched on the Leona Nautilus thing, because right before this game, someone tweeted at me and Freakin tagged both of us and was like, what do you think is better? Is Leona Nautilus just a better Nautilus? My rebuttal was going to be that the Nautilus ultimate being a knock-up instead, you can't have, tenacity doesn't help you there. And that's actually a really prevalent in the game now with a lot of rune choices for tenacity. That sort of thing. Plus, you can't miss it. Point and click makes it easier for the dum-dums like me.
Yep. Either way, we are going to be on to the game of this one pretty soon. I will say, though, Nautilus Ultimate, it depends how it's coded, because Nautilus Ultimate after the knockup is still a stun. Much like Alistar Q, there's actually a stun attached to it. I don't know if the stun starts counting at knockup or if it starts counting at landing. Because if it starts counting at knockup, Tenacity is essentially fully powerful because you still delay the drop.
Let me tell you, if you're buying Tenacity against a Nautilus Ultimate, for that explicit purpose, then you're messing up, because the knockup lasts long enough, even if the last little tiny
so does an Alistar Q or a Leona stun. I'm just saying, like, sometimes it's still long enough so that you die. That's the only point I'm going for.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, they still have all these, never mind. The fire-related emotes for 100 Thieves. Yeah, they're still left on their emote wheel, I guess.
Yes, from the Immortals game.
Yes, I see. No invade, though, thus far for Team Liquid. Sweeper here for Huhi on 100 Thieves, though. So maybe they actually try something late. Ooh, looking for it.
Sweeper will spot if there's a ward or a champion. Indeed sees Core JJ. Not much more of a play to be had, so out they go. We'll point out again, we had seen a really harsh increase or a stark increase of Phase Rush Alistar last year, and it's certainly a viable build. I'm not going to say it's wrong or anything, but we've seen some people go back to Aftershock. And the point I want to make is that pre-6, Phase Rush Alistar is very, 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 very squishy, and level 1 doesn't have a lot of real tools to peel or really even engage. And so oftentimes you can see a lot of pressure against level 1 Phase Rush Alistar, which says, Triss Leona going to have a lot of early lane priority here. It will be Tactical and Core JJ. Almost always they will leech for their team. Very, very rarely will they ever play for the lane instead of playing for Santorin. So on the back foot is TL's bot lane. We'll see if 100 Thieves get anything out of that as a result.
Yeah, and then on the other side here, Closer is starting top side. So they're not setting up possible early pressure on the Gangplank. Not going to go up to Someday to try and help out with Alphari, as so many top laners have had a difficult time dealing with Alphari. And he actually is going to be looking towards the Tristana-Leona lane. I love looking towards aggressive Tristana-Leona lanes. It is a kill lane. Huhi goes in for the initiation.
Jump is slow. That's going to be the Q stun. This is how strong this lane can be. Ignite is on as well for some decent damage. Tactical had heal, not cleanse, so you ignite if you think you might get the rest of the damage across. They don't quite kill him, but that is a really good engage. Pulverize buys a second, but level 2 comes in. It's a really good fight from FBI. Nicely weaving in the auto attacks. He was in turret range, but waited for the turret to auto the minion, then attack, and then dropped aggro before he got hit again. So that was really, really well played. Yeah, Closer doesn't have one.
One of the big things for this team, for 100 Thieves, has always been their setup on dives. And if you're jumping in, doing that aggressive play on bottom side, setting up for a possible dive, you already see Closer heading over there, over the ward. That's why I mentioned there's no sweeper there. And the ward does allow Tactical to back off, but you get to deny some minions from Tactical. He's not even in experience range of the cannon as the cannon goes down. And though they do come over with the sweeper, that's one of the things with this team. Always looking at these dives. When 100 Thieves were at their best, in the lock-in tournament at the beginning of spring, getting all these victories, it was proactive early dives off of lanes like this.
Are you willing to flash for this one? Rocket jump forward. Not going to find the axe slow either, so they're only going to push. Ooh, they got the slow there from Tactical, or sorry, from Closer. Decent damage. Yeah, I mean, he's not getting gold or XP, but oh my gosh, topside, there's a kill. All right, Alfari and Santorin said, you're going to dive bot. Guess what? We're going to dive top, and First Blood is going to save the lives of Team Liquid. Donate now, ccp.gg.
All right, let's take a look at the 2v1. Someday, Mininar under tower. There's no getting out of there. Comes right on in with the bear. Finishes off with the Phoenix. Big kill onto Someday. Alfari has been crushing it in the top side. And I want to shout out that ward by Raptors. Really, really good ward by Team Liquid. The ward by Raptors saw Closer transition to bottom side. That gave them the alert that they were going for it. Good flash.
Really, really low. Core's going to flash to make sure the sun can happen. One more hit. Not going to get it. There we go. Nicely picked up there. Santorin gets the burn kill. Now, he's got to run away as well. But Jensen has arrived, and the kill's going to come across. Team Liquid 3-0 to start out this game.
The extra information. Information is everything in this game, and Team Liquid are making the most of it. The early ward sees Closer heading towards the bottom side. Tactical, Core JJ are able to survive while Santorin knows there's no possible answer to his gank on top side. They successfully get that one out. Then they get the counter kill, chasing them out of the jungle as 100 Thieves stay around too long. No reset for them, and it is just Team Liquid winning both sides of the map. After that early success of FBI and Huhi, they still retain their giant CS lead down here. So FBI and Huhi's work has not gone unnoticed. He is rewarded for that. But the extra kills going to Team Liquid turn around so much of this early game plan from 100 Thieves.
Santorin is up a kill to assist in 3 camps. It's, you know, bot lane's, I guess, a little sad because Tactical is zoned away, but to assist means it's double longsword, a pickaxe. That's barely worse, to be honest. So Team Liquid got to feel real good about this 1,500 gold lead they've got right now, as Someday can fight back a little bit against Alfari. But hey, you walked into a barrel chain. Sorry, Someday, but you're not allowed to play this lane anymore.
Yep, guess what? Mininar gonna stay mini for a while too. Santorin continues to keep pressure up on top side for Alfari. He's mining the most out of the extra gold here on the top side. Someday does still have flash because he found himself to death last time. He knew.
He's got to feel nervous. All right, he's not going to find the slow onto Santorin. Bear stun's going to come across. Goodbye, Someday. You're dead again. And Closer not going to get anything back as well. Feel like you should have left when you saw the Scryer's Bloom. You knew a jungler was there. Just run away.
Yeah, I mean, they also saw him on the Tri-Brush ward. So yeah. I think their communication on 100 Thieves side, they were thinking, all right, Closer can get there in time. And that was, you know, maybe a second off for the timing of him trying to arrive and get the counter kill. But it seems like that was the idea. That was the call from them because they did, you know, see him as he transitioned over.
All right, well, bot lane maybe still some attention as the item lead is still with FBI. The support items don't really matter here. And the Bush priority does go to 100 Thieves, so maybe Closer can get the bottom side, get a dragon, and find something going on in the favor of 100. But for now, it's Team Liquid the only one making any good choices. I will say, the bot lane pressure was good. Like, they got a play out of it. They denied some farm. Like, that was actually fairly successful, but the counter punch has just been better on Team Liquid.
Yeah, definitely could have been more bottom side 400 Thieves. But good defensive measures taken too, and we keep on mentioning the early ward, the vision, you know, seeing and tracking Closer is a big part of that. 100 Thieves are definitely, you know, telegraph it a little bit in how they want to play this, and with a top side start, good kind of deduction there from Team Liquid to be able to counter both sides.
Rage bar building back up. Alfari a level ahead right now. You can see Mininar's XP bar at 6 barely. Alfari's 7 comfortably, so it is a long road ahead for somebody to catch up in XP overall. And it might not happen this game, to be honest. Alfari feeling comfortable with his 20 CS lead. Played his steel cap pretty good against the double AD top jungle. The move speed, of course, helping get away from the Olaf as well, so that's going just fine. Santorin, I guess Closer has caught up in camp, so that's really good to farm well in the Olaf, but obviously Santorin's gotten more done. Grabs the red buff, gonna just run around, get the vision, and make sure his lanes are all safe to keep the push going that they can.
I will say, too, for 100 Thieves, then another area you can try and attack is the Syndra versus Azir matchup in mid lane. Post-level 6 here, you know, there's plenty of opportunity for pressure there. This is the nerfed Azir. Jensen's rushed into Merc Tread, so he's trying to get that early tenacity and to watch out for the stun combo.
Well, you see Santorin. Can they get team champions over? I mean, Azir is here first. Syndra has to be second, and that means, yeah, Santorin's going to be safe to make his play. How far are you going to zone them out? I mean, good time to have top pressure, good time to have mid pressure. Last planner for the sneak, but they can still show up in time to defend it. A re-engage not going to be much either, so well done. Jensen is able to grab the Herald himself, and of course, as Azir is able to get away. So well done by Team Liquid with having to send their bot lane over really in any way. Grab the Herald, no problems, but now FBI fighting Tactical. This is big damage, by the way. Tactical could die. One more auto, then he can ult. The Summoner heal is going to be enough. The jump, the flash, the auto's not enough. Tactical just barely lives. FBI healed to get out of turret range. You could have just taken the freebie, the Summoners, but burns his entire Summoner suite to maybe deny a minion wave.
Yeah, I do like the opportunity. You know, he wants to take advantage of the level 6. You know, he's pushing, so Tactical doesn't have his ultimate yet. And trying to get those Summoners out, can't quite clutch it. You know, does get a little bit baited by the extra heal there by Tactical, causing him to go flash and heal himself as well. Someday, though, under attack constantly.
Big damage here. Someday only gets a little bit of a hop, and that means it's death number 3. There's poor Gnar. Picked on and picked on and picked on. Easy kills for Alfari and Santorin.
It's the little things, Freak. When you see that just movement from Santorin, walking away, yeah, Udyr, he doesn't have a lot of surprise moves he can do, runs up, stuns you, but then just having the presence of mind, all right, walks back and around in a little circle so that Someday can't hop on his head for the extra distance. When all you can do is run around, it's important that you run around correctly. Let's say that.
Absolutely. Really, really well done right now. So top lane is just the most tragic right now. 400 Thieves. Gold lead, 2,500. Honestly, not as abysmal as you might expect for the kill difference. It's still bad, don't get me wrong. Like, this is a pretty rough one, but maybe the chance to come back. Tristana, of course, still farming pretty well. And now Team Liquid going to invade the bottom jungle here. Core JJ and Santorin put a ward down. Closer going to start this red buff, and with Huhi playing nearby, looks like they're going to be able to defend this one. Santorin will knock a ward back down, and Huhi will, yeah, play this one pretty nicely. Auto Q auto, get the ward kill, get the control ward down as well, hand the 30 gold off to Closer. So no counter jungling, pretty good ward clearing overall by Huhi, and so Core JJ doesn't actually get that much deep vision.
This game is going to go a long ways towards shoring up analysts' predictions and opinions of Team Liquid heading into playoffs as well. With how controlled and successful these early game moves have been made, you know, gathering information, proper rotations over, countering these plays here from 100 Thieves, and abusing the top side while they have a lot of commitment towards bottom. These are all things that, you know, people have had this feeling of Team Liquid should have a better scoreline than they've had for most of Spring Split. And they've made a lot of, you know, mistakes in some of the games to have people, you know, kind of question that. But rising right back up to the top of the standings just in time for MSI qualifications, and having a game like this versus another one of the top teams will definitely go a long ways towards that. I think the one thing maybe still hanging over people's mind as far as doubt, if they were going to doubt this team, would be Tactical. But you know, the escapes here on bottom have definitely been clutched, and he's the one with the, you know, Xayah Alistar end of this you know, Tristana Leona lane, which should have the aggressive look. So.
All right, trade of blows. You can get the root, but the rocket jump for FBI is put up in time to make sure he doesn't die to that one. Cannon will be lost. Nice by Tactical to kind of keep him away and make that one not go very well. Who he ward over the wall. Might find him his way into a fight before too long. Jensen will need to summon pretty soon. We'll get a couple of plates there. This gold will all go to the mid laner. Rift Herald plate gold is global to the Summoner. He gonna make the walk back for Tactical, gonna find the stun, find a little bit more. Has the OP to no flash, so Tactical could be attacked pretty heavily. Closer nearby as well. The root's only gonna land on a little bit. The flash follow is gonna guarantee the kill for Closer. And now CoreJJ has flashed, he has ulted, and that means he's gonna walk away and stay alive. But at least finally, 100 Thieves get a kill on the board.
Yeah, all the 100 Thieves are praying for their bottom lane to carry this one. This Spirit Bomb of FBI and Hui, they're gathering all of that will, all of that force towards the bottom side of the 100 Thieves map here. That is their hope for winning. Tristana here for FBI does get to knock off some more turret plates after the kill too. So continue to look for these aggressive moves. They're basically just churning through Tactical's Summoner Spell and Ultimate cooldowns here with constant pressure and continuing to look for these successful engages for themselves.
One nice thing about Tristana, you saw how easy it was to knock that wave down. Triss can essentially pre-clear a big wave by stacking explosive charge at the right time as the wave reinforces. Around this point in time, you one-shot the casters, it takes like 8 autos for the rest of it, and you can greed for plates that most other AD carries can't do. Like if you're Ashe, you don't get this kind of recall timing while greeting the plate and getting the wave on time. So big benefit to Triss. It means Kraken Slayer plus Boots are in for FBI. This is a huge power spike, but it's the only one the 100 Thieves have. They don't have much going on anywhere else on the map. So it's like, well, Tactical's on Essence Reaver, but he can also kill turret plates. So, you know, good luck dueling him. Which FBI can, but every other lane's going to lose.
This power spike is a little power bump for them. You know, he's level 9 Tristana, does have his mythic, but the rest of the map for Team Liquid is under control. And guess what? This is a Gangplank with a 2-level lead. He's already level 11, can send his ultimate over there. So even though your Tristana is your power point, there's a level 2 Gangplank ultimate that can drop down on your head if you get too aggressive.
And they force the flash to Tactical. CoreJJ has ult, but no flash. The slow's not enough to chase it down, though. They knew Alistar would be up. There's really no upside to this play. It would be over chasing with Udyr coming over and Azir coming over. So ult for flash is still a good trade, though. Again, as you mentioned, Kobe, they're just cycling the cooldowns. Tactical running the heal instead of the cleanse means he's got to burn the big cooldowns to get away from just CC.
Team Liquid are happy to have Tactical, just keep spending those, though. They're like, all right, you know, keep spending them, stay alive, keep trying to absorb as best you can, because the rest of the squad taking care of business as Santorin picks up Rift Herald number 2. And they even actually they rotated Alfari up to top. Maybe they want, you know, to actually throw some pressure at the 100 Thieves winning lane. There is sufficient warding here by 100 Thieves for FBI and Hui to know that they should not be, you know, taking any over-aggressive trades, and they also get the audio call out from the Rift Herald being taken, so the rest of the Team Liquid squad will come to collect.
Okay, top lane outer going to drop down. Had to play defensively enough with Santorin showing up, so the wave gets pushed in, no problem. Santorin, I like this kind of, you know, shoves down the casters and gets out of the way, lets the gold go over to Tactical. Shout out every jungler who doesn't just greed the entire wave instantly, but actually lets people get the farm. It's a rare breed, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I'm actually okay with doing it nowadays too. With you know, you're building full tank. You're like, you don't really get to super tanky standpoints anymore. With the offensive itemization, I feel like there always comes a point in the game nowadays that no matter how tanky you've built, it's only going to be a one combo from a properly built offensive carry. FBI, though, walking towards Core.
Has the vision, headbutt pull over the wall, a big stun combo, rocket jump, he's going to try to run, has ulti, just lives, no summoners used, but now, he's got to be careful, Abstract's going to end, W's going to end, finds a bit of a slow, a buster shot puts CoreJJ out, and someone heal gives Huhi's a move speed, and no more chase happens, so hey, 2 ults and a single summoner spell is the cost of living, not too bad. Now that said, though, it's really both teams who've made those kind of plays, forcing a single summoner out of the opposing AD carry. Rum wants to steal, but with Jensen walking up, going to have no chance that one. And Dragon number 1 goes to Team Liquid, now tying that score.
Yeah, well orchestrated by them. They even have Rift Herald on bottom side. They can finish up the last outer turret. That's when Olaf starts to cry. Once you have no outer turrets left, your solo laners have been getting abused, and it will continue. If you give up, you know, all this, you know, vision, you start to see it creep in. Vision lines kind of move step by step. So it's very hard to retake full vision control once all your outer turrets go down and the first line is in there, because then your plays are telegraphed. It's very hard to answer. Closer comes down though through the tri-brush. As Team Liquid are also having Alistar hover, they should be able to make effective Rift Herald use.
Safe recall. Yeah, I want to see when the Herald comes down. Obviously, the Printer's going to instantly crack any of those turrets. Right now, though, Azir gets the solo time, so can nearly kill it by himself. Santorin is walking down. CoreJJ the same. We'll see if they need to summon it. Yeah, he's going to. Makes it go down faster. They could probably shepherd it in a tier 2 as well with only Syndra on this side of the map to defend. So a very easy crash down. You can actually stop out at this point. It's always going to die to the charge anyway. Jensen's still going to be there for the local gold because he tagged it. And now it's time for tier 2 as CoreJJ, Santorin, and Tactical own this part of the jungle. They're going to pretty much hamper any rotations. So it should be a crash. And very likely, or at least very possibly, Tactical, be careful. Tactical, he's going to have to ult to walk away, but the re-engage, they're going to find a slow, they're going to go for the engage, and they get the kill. Tactical stayed in the jungle, but the re-engage is FBI very, very low, barely staying alive. And this team fight's not going to live for much longer. Somebody's going to find a bit of a stun, a bit of a slow, but Alphari's in the chase, gets the shot in the back, gets the kill. Santorin at 12 health survives through Syndra as somebody flashed the wall to stay alive. So it is a 1-for-1 just barely, but nearly 2 more kills on each side. And something makes the drop. Yep, stun, Everfrost, big root, a lot of damage. Alphari is not going to find the damage. Nearly is Jensen getting the kill, but again, everyone just slinking away.
And it's still just a 1-for-1 at best for 100 Thieves, even with catching Tactical out on rotation through the jungle there. Team Liquid, fancy moves to get their counter kill here. Look at this initiation onto Tactical. Yeah, he has ultimate, but Leona's slow actually zones him closer to Olaf and they burst him down. FBI lives with 50 HP there. So Trista is actually bullied out of this fight. There's no damage left to back up someday, and Alphari wrapping around the side to pick up his extra kill onto Olaf. Team Liquid actually still get the counter kill despite Xayah getting pincered inside their own jungle. I also note that the other Team Liquid carry here, Jensen, had to flash over the back of the Dragon Pit because of the positioning of Ryoma. Syndra kind of forcing him towards the front line there. Jensen with kind of a heads-up flash into the back of the pit so he can still auto on the front line, but not in range of the Syndra combo.
All right, well, created some damage back and forth, but it is, I guess, heartening for Thieves fans to see that they are able to earn some gold and fight closely despite this 5,000 gold deficit. You'd love to see him shrink it over time, but at least they're holding on. Sad to see the cannon go away. FBI tried to set the one up, and damage came across the minion line as well, which made it not go through. We'll see if the comeback can come through.
They need every penny, Freak, so every cannon definitely helps.
Someday you are in a 1v3, gonna get for CoreJJ, having it back, gonna try to stride break away. A stun to Santorin is decent damage, but he's still a very, very fast Udyr. It's not gonna matter here. Closer looking at Core. Core does not have ult, so Alistar is a very squishy and very killable champion.
That's gonna cost you a tower for that play, at least. Alphari, no teleport here. Doesn't matter, though. He has the ultimate if things got really dicey for Team Liquid. And someday it looked like he really just wanted to make use of his Meganar before he expired there. But once he turns mini, that thing's about to time out. Even though they get CoreJJ's Alistar ultimate down, Mininar with 50% HP. As you're a fan of saying, Alistar pre-level 6, not a champion. Mininar late game with 50% HP and just going starved, also not really a champion. So they have to back right off and just take that loss on the bottom half of the map where Alphari has just been cashing in on this gangplank. Executioners also picked up for him. So, Olaf and Tristana won't be able to leech as much. It just, it looks like this gangplank is going to be so big in keeping up these dragon stacking neutral objectives for Team Liquid. Because they have full map control, they get the setup first. And it's going to be barrel chains out of the brush. You have to watch out for.
Speaking of barrel chains, though, Alphari going for a somewhat unconventional build. I have not seen it in any league on this patch, but it is a tankier one, right? It's mass sustain with the Ravenous Hydra. It's the, I'm blanking on the name of this item.
Divine Thunderer.
Divine Thunderer. There we go. Yeah. Almost like literally every other player who has played Gangplank at 11.5 has gone F3 and gone crit. This is the one player who's going back to Bruiser there. Maybe team comp reasons with all the frontline threat that exists with Syndra and Trist. It's like, I don't want to get one shot, so we're going for something a bit tankier. Fair enough, but Yeah.
As you're pointing out, the sustain is the main feature. Previously, 2 patches ago, when people were building a lot of Divine Sunder, this was also on the broken Sterix patch, so they would go Divine Sunder and Sterix and be this super bruiser, heavy kind of frontline gangplank that didn't have quite the explosions of, the fully offensive, like you're talking about, builds that we've seen recently, but the sustain in the front line is so much heavier here with this build. And even with Sterix getting nerfed and Alphari making this adaptation, not getting the Sterix going with the Ravenous for the extra sustain there, extra steel caps as well, and being able to apply the Executioner's debuff, also going to provide extra utility for the team, in addition to not being a vulnerable Tristana reset target.
Yep, definitely useful. So, Mythics coming through across the board now as finally Alistair completes his, and we're just waiting for Tactical to finish. It could be Kraken, could be Gale Force. I think either one can make sense. I like Gale Force as he has to dodge the Leona so often. I think that would be the optimal choice in this game. Don't think they need help killing frontline, considering you have several other carries. Easy jump back for FBI. Times it around the time you would get stunned and says, okay, I guess I didn't get anything out of that one, whatever. Moving back, though.
Yeah, Tactical's main feature this game has not been damage output. It has been get every button you can to survive. So I agree.
Well, okay, good ult to stay alive for Tactical. The flash he's not going to follow, but now here comes the re-engage. Big stuns coming to the front line. Santorin has to run away, though, as well as the ulti was popped. Ryoma TP's onto the feathers, and that means he dies. That TP also sucked, and now it's Gnar trying to go mega. Has to be careful. Transforms. Ults onto 3, but it's not going to matter. The shot's going to kill him. He's going to burn down the Corrupting Potion of all things. And 100 Thieves lose that fight 2-0.
Yeah, Alphari's able to get one more Q off. Freak, I thought those teleports were different people. I thought the Someday one was the front one and the Ryoma one was the back one. But surprise, surprise, Team Liquid happy to take that kill onto Ryoma as the Syndra pops up in front of them. Alphari gonna zone while they finish up the Baron.
Okay, Team Liquid in a huge lead now in this game. An easy pickup on the Baron. They're gonna look for stuns on Alphari. It's good damage. They won't even kill him. He's tanky. The shovel brings back one. Closer could be attacked as well. What a great bait by Alphari, and it's 10-2 for Team Liquid.
Steel caps on Divine Sunder. That is not a Tristana reset. He is able to eat his oranges, flash out, push with the Baron afterwards, and Team Liquid want to end this one quick.
Yeah, they're going to knock down at least the inhibitor turret, it looks like. Maybe the inhibit itself will stay up. Depends how aggressive TL want to play this one. Alphari certainly able to walk up, and none of these respawn. They're still only in a 3v4 or a 3v5 as Zaya's recalled, so it is only 4 on the offense, and that means TL will not even get the turret itself. The defense was enough to push them back, and that's fine. They got 4 kills, they got a Baron. Reset, buy your items. Gale Force does get through for Tactical. Good choice there. Keep him, keep him alive. Yeah.
He knows. He wants every button he could possibly use to be able to survive this dive from 100 Thieves. And honestly, with how well everybody else is getting fed, Alphari and Jensen can put out the majority of the damage for the team fight, no problem.
Well, 10,000 gold puts Team Liquid in a good position here. If 100 Thieves lose, they are exactly 4th seed. They are just there to wait to see who's going to be first, who's going to be their first round opponent. With Team Liquid, okay, Alphari, round 2, stunned, stunned again, stunned a 3rd time. This is probably going to kill him. They got him. They got a shutdown, and 750 went to FBI, so he's now, halfway into the last Whisper.
Yeah, we definitely have some hope here now for 100 Thieves. Phantom Dancer doing some work there, getting off plenty of extra attack speed. Here's another look at the attempt onto Tactical. This time around, they aren't able to get there, and then you see them back off. Team Liquid wait to see who the teleport is, much like we were thinking. And actually, surprise, surprise, it is the Syndra on the front line, so they immediately kill off Syndra, and then you can follow up, even though Someday gets a decent Gnar ultimate. It's while they're in retreat, and they already lost their mid laner, so there's no damage behind the Gnar ultimate. Team Liquid just runs straight ahead, and as you know, he escapes this time, but the live occurrence is not the same story there for Alphari.
Yep.
This also turns into, of course, Team Liquid so much map pressure, and it's not going to change kind of how they play the game too much, but now with Baron buff, they just get to, here we go.
Try again. Corjade nearby. Santorin very fast. Thank you, Phase Rush, is zipping right out there. He's going to stay alive. The Azir turret goes down, and the siege can continue. Red Bull Baron, 15 seconds left. 3,600 gold lead through that. 1,500 of that being Baron itself, so even more money earned over the top. Is it 6 turrets to 1? 2 turrets to 1. Ryoma nearly dead. A big stun keeps the whole team alive. It keeps the siege from going too much better. But FBI's got to feel worried about the fact that Jensen could always just go for the shuffle. Without FBI having flash, it's very tough to go for that one and feel comfortable doing so. And yeah, you can see Korjay playing far enough up. Santorin now going to play in melee range as well. Means you really can't contest these minions. That cannon stays alive. Quick clear for Ryoma. Only gets a couple of minions though. Who he wants to Hex Flash in, doesn't find it just yet. But it's a 5v5 win for when the fight gets started. 10,000 gold makes it very hard for Thieves to want to. He's Mega Gnar. They've got very little time left to go for this play. If you're going to do it ever, it's during Mega. Unlikely to be successful though, so they're going to wait and see if anyone overextends. They will not. 100 Thieves teamfight power just dropped by a quarter. And it's time to back off yet again. Inhibitor is going to go to Team Liquid. There's no reason to fight this one. Whoa, that is too far up. That is too far up. Sunday gonna set up for a pretty easy engage, but maybe it was a bait. They're gonna find Santorin, and it was a bait. They find 1 for 1. But Someday has to get over the wall. Jen's gonna find the second kill, and now he just has to walk away. Ryoma gets a stun, but he's still gotta get away from everyone else. FBI is alive, but just that. It's still a fight that goes Team Liquid's way. 4v3, pushing in for more of the base.
Yeah, 100 Thieves are kind of forced to fight front to back, but if your Mega Gnar expires there and you're just mini on the front line, they lose out on that front line. You saw how it was then easy to focus closer for Team Liquid, and even though Santorin goes down, Team Liquid are happy to just fight front to back. If your mini Gnar is there, there's not real front line, and they're going to win that race every single time, despite Tactical being a bit behind on the Xayah from the early stages. Now actually has surpassed FBI in levels with the extra team play that they've been able to get off, and caught up in items, extra BF sword on top of the 2 item power spike there. So Jensen doing a lot of the heavy lifting though. Level 16 Azir with the Nashor's build, just kind of working right through them. And Team Liquid, they will easily be able to pick up their Soul Point Dragon here, but honestly, Freak, I don't think we have to run this game all the way to the Dragon Soul. With 3 inhibitors down, it's always so easy to end a game just by going up into the enemy's base, just grouping up and watching the minions do a lot of the work.
Yes, indeed. So Team Liquid, obviously well in driver's seat. I always get a little bit nervous whenever I kill 3 inhibitors because I'm like, okay, we are just flooding in like 700 gold per minute through the minion waves that we're not getting and you're getting. So it's like XP and gold keep going up and up and up and up. So it's like snapshots of gold difference, right? It's 11K. If you do not actively take Baron or actively push the base, that gold lead just shrinks. Obviously, TL can make that up. They can make the plays happen. The Baron is practically a formality in 20 seconds, but you have to keep checking those boxes or your lead goes away on its own.
Yeah. Big tip here, don't 5-person disconnect after you take 3 inhibitors. That's my recommendation. That's when taking 3 inhibitors can be bad. Otherwise, 5 members are connected for Team Liquid, and they are gonna force on Baron.
Here we go. Udyr and the Xayah and the Azir. An easy one here. Alistar actually going back to his side of the jungle. Althari pretty defensive there as well. So 100 Thieves can walk in, but not walk in time. Baron is indeed claimed. Is there even going to be a re-engage? Oh, Korjay was behind you, so who he has to lock him up? The knockback from Ryoma keeps him alive. The flash pulver still going to land. Jensen forced a flash out of the pit. Someday walks in. Ulti's going to come across on a 1 champion. FBI jumps in, and Malphite is probably going to die for this one. But Tactical's going to drop. It's a 2 for 0. Who he's on the front line. FBI will indeed die. Did not have to go for that play. Ryoma now in the back line as well. The battle lines have been flipped, and now suddenly the front line's going to drop. It started 2 for 0, and then it went 5 straight for Team Liquid. The inhibs are dead. The minions are inside the base, and Team Liquid will take this victory. They will improve to 12-6. 100 Thieves will be our 4th seeded team in the mid-season showdown, and TL hope that EG can take a win so that Team Liquid can fight for first.
Congratulations to Team Liquid. Almost had it there, Freak.
Almost had it.
TL though, they finished strong, unlike Freak this game. And we'll head with confidence here into the MSI qualifying playoff bracket that we have. So congratulations here. Nicely done from start to finish, honestly, especially with the way that they reacted, with some of the information they gathered in the early game, seeing Closer head over for the quintessential 100 Thieves dive on bottom side. Even though FBI and Huhi were running this Tristana Leona bottom lane down there, playing it really well, super aggressive into the Alistar. Xayah taking full advantage with the kind of telegraph jungle move. Santorin answers on top side, and it's a good response here from Team Liquid to actually control so much of that mid game.
Yeah, really, really, really well done. They survived a really hellish bot lane. Impressive for them to live, to survive through all that stuff. At the end of the day, though, 100 Thieves could not get anything more done off of the bot lane focus. They own the head-to-head against Dignitas, which is why they are guaranteed 4th seed, despite having the same record, basically. On Team Liquid's side, if Cloud9 wins, TSM owns the head-to-head, so Team Liquid's just 3rd. TSM gets 2nd, it's over and done with. If Immortals upsets Cloud9, 3-way tie is not broken. Cloud9 TL is the first round. Winner of that fights TSM for 1st seed. So that is the road how TL gets the #1 seed into the playoff bracket, is the Immortals up to over C9, and then make that road to make that happen. If you are a fan of tiebreakers in general, you want that Game 5 to go Immortals' way. It's going to be fun to watch for. Either way, upper bracket for both these teams. We will see more of them in the midseason showdown, and we'll see which team will represent the LCS at MSI in a month's time or so. But that's going to do it for us. For me and Kobe, we are done casting the regular season. But after the break, we'll hear from Santorin in the Verizon postgame interview. So stay tuned for that.
This phone paired with 5G ultra wideband, wow.
The new Samsung Galaxy S21 is on Verizon 5G ultra wideband, available in parts of many cities.
It's ridiculously fast.
Buy Samsung Galaxy S21 plus 5G. Get one on us. Only on Verizon.
Welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview here with my man Santorin after a sweet victory over 100 Thieves to lock in a top 3 spot, at least a top 3 spot when it comes to the postseason. I want to get your first reactions, of course, to winning the game, locking that top 3, but more importantly, doing it over one of the teams that will be in the top 4 of the postseason.
I'm really, really happy with this week, especially this game, because we basically beat the contenders that we'll be playing against in the playoffs. So it's really promising that we actually beat them decisively, because in the previous week, we'll have an early game lead and we threw the entire game and we'd lose for no reason. So I'm really, really happy going into playoffs now that we feel more confident.
Well, speaking of those teams that are right around you in the standings, ultimately the ones you'll be competing against in the postseason, there is still that possibility of a 3-way tie for first at the end of the day. It does require C9 to drop the game to Immortals. But let me lay it out for you. The way it works at that point is that first you'll have to play Cloud9. Winner of that will move on to play TSM for first place. So possibly 2 different rematches coming at the end of the day. How are you feeling about your chances against either squad?
I feel pretty good. I mean, we beat C9 every single time, basically. So I'm hoping that if C9 loses, we beat C9. And then the final boss is TSM, because we actually lost both regular season games against them. So I really want to prove that we are the better team. So I'm really hoping C9 just ends like crazy.
Of course, when it comes to this split for you guys on Team Liquid, Jat's been vocal about the fact that this has been about experimentation, about opening up, the different strategies available to you guys when it comes to those bigger matchups down the line. How do you feel you've done on that? Have you guys achieved what you're looking for here in the regular split?
Yeah, I think so, because we had a lot of experimentation mid-season, and I felt like we threw a lot of games because we didn't feel as confident on some champions. So we kind of figured out what we're really good at and what we still need to work on. So heading into playoffs, we have a really clear way of how we want to draft and how we want to play, and I think that's going to be really, really big heading into playoffs.
Sweet. Well, the last one I got for you is just, it's a pretty simple one, but the first time you ever picked up an LCS title was your first split with TSM back in 2015. Now, you managed to get back to the LCS finals 3 times since then, but falling just short. Is this TL roster with you on it? Is this the time that we're going to see another trophy added to Santorin's trophy case?
It has to be. If there's ever a chance, it's going to be this one, so I'm doing everything I can to make sure it happens.
All right, sweet. Well, you do have a possible 2 games ahead of you later today, so I want to let you go, rest up, and link up with the team. But Santorin, as we throw it back to the State Farm analyst desk, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Santorin is hungry for not just the playoffs, but getting his way into the finals and winning it. You'll love to see it. Speaking of playoffs, a quick update on what this game means for just that. 100 Thieves are locked into the 4th place positioning, still in the upper bracket though, which means they get that second life. And we will find out later who they'll be facing in that first seed positioning, depending on how the games go. Team Liquid officially avoiding the 4th place means here today. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that game, Mark, because it seemed like there were some clear strategies of focus taken by both of these teams at the top.
Yeah, I really liked what we saw out of both teams' early games. There was a ton of pressure down the bot side, and so Closer actually skipped his red and Krugs to go pressure around this bot lane and try and get an advantage. I actually saw JJ in EDG in the LPL do a similar thing. Usually he fell back after the initial pressure of denying some minion waves and would go then take his red and Krugs into Scuttle as opposed to doing full clear Scuttle pressure. Didn't quite work out for him because they did not get the kills in the bot side. Meanwhile, top was not really going to plan.
You gotta help your top laners, because in bottom, at least the Alistar gets to stay there, catches the experience. Yeah, you deny the Zayat, but it's bad. And then they stay down here trying to make something happen. But Santorin already has the plated steel caps. He's really fast, so the collapse is brutal. Once this play happens, it's pretty much game over from this point onwards. You can count on Team Liquid to take this advantage home, because Santorin gets to go back and path all the way back to top and punish Gnar even more.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a meme tweet here where we're counting someday as a jungle camp that I appreciated from Dominate. But one thing I do want to talk about here, I appreciate the EDG comparison actually, because I think EDG is a pretty bot lane focused team a lot of the time. And I didn't mind the trade-off that 100 team made, but because things didn't break their way, because Closer did stay in that bot side a little bit too long, TL were really easily able to capitalize capitalize on that and to turn a meme tweet into something that is more like constructive and positive. I actually really love that we saw TL attacking topside over and over again, and then bringing that influence to control the rest of the map. Because again, I know I was really critical of TL and their ability to kind of their inability to convert some of these topside focused games that they had. And here we see Alfari's pressure being translated to just taking over the entire game and pretty much closing it out from there.
Yeah, Team Liquid went over to Someday and said, before you can even turn into Meganar, we're going to turn you into a jungle camp here. And Crumbs, you had mentioned that some of the game was a bit decided by what we saw down bot with the dominance of Team Liquid, but there was a play later in the mid lane that really seemed to crack things open in their favor.
Yeah, so I understand why Huhi's engaging onto Tactical. Tactical has been running it a little bit, but it is a Saya still. You can count on his mechanics to at least still be there somewhat. So then the Ryoma teleport, this one was really that you heard what Kobe said. You thought that it was the Gnar in the middle and the Syndra on the left, which really might have worked since Someday was close to Mega, but once this happens, it really is over. The re-engage is fine from Team Liquid, and then Alfari's tanky build means that he can threaten on this side. He knows he's not in any real danger because it's only FBI that's going to be attacking him, and he has to rocket jump in. It's a very tanky gangplank. They get the Baron, and from this point onwards, there's really not much that 100 Thieves can do to come back into the game. They're way too far behind.
It's unfortunate because there was still some like glimmers of hope, I think, for 100 Thieves. FBI was super far ahead with that early pressure. It wasn't like he did nothing with it. They did try to find kills in the bot lane, and they took turret plates. They were CS ahead by like 20, I believe it was. So like FBI is still, I think, a huge force for this team. It's just that they need to clean up some of their PvP moments still. The fact that they got caught on the Gromp and these kinds of things, when you have pretty good scaling on your team and stuff like that, and FBI can always carry, a little unfortunate of a game.
Those kind of things become a bit more noticeable when you're looking over on the Team Liquid side and seeing how strong some of these individuals are. The player of the game was, in fact, Santorin after his performance today. And Emily, I know we were talking about the fact that he is a really strong jungler, sometimes getting overshadowed by what we see from players like Blabber.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I really appreciate a lot of the time about Santorin is just his ability to recognize where to exert pressure and or when to, counter jungle or control river or lay down vision instead. I think this is something that, typically comes to junglers with a lot of experience, but I'm glad that Santorin was player of the game today because we get to highlight just how much he does for TL in this early game, and we got to see that again today, so.
As we're talking about things we appreciate about Santorin, I think this guy's tenacity from we heard in the interview, the 2015 win all the way to now, 2021, he had to go through so many different teams to get back to where he was and recognized as one of the best junglers finally on one of the best teams. I think that not a lot of players would actually have the grit to go down that low and then rise back up and aim for a title and legitimately have a chance.
And we're shouting people out. Gotta shout out Barney in the top lane. He killed it this game, setting up a lot of those dives, making it pretty easy for Santorin.
And you get a shout out, and you get a shout out. Shout out to Team Liquid for staying here in the top 4, as both them and 100 Thieves have done for that bracket. We do have more action coming your way here on the LCS, though. CLG are facing off against Evil Geniuses, hoping to finish out their spring with a bang. And we will all see you there.
Underneath every surface that carries a Honda badge, there has always been the capacity to amaze. Rise to the challenge with the rugged performance of the Honda Pilot, Passport, and redesigned Ridgeline.